Welcome back to Flashpoint. We continue our conversations with City Council at-large candidates, and joining us now is a Republican, Kyle Luebke. Kyle, thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, the first question I'm asking all of these candidates, what is your number one priority for the city of Charlotte?
My number one priority is housing affordability to own and keeping people in their homes if they currently own homes.
And what do you think is the best way to go about doing that from a city council perspective?
So there's a couple different ways. So the first way is a development side. We need to incentivize developers and contractors to be building homes to own. You can do that in many different ways with, different density bonuses in our zoning code, maybe setback, modified setback requirements, that sort of thing. But we need to be incentivizing our developers to build homes to own as opposed to only homes to rent. I also want to look into modifying our down payment assistance program. Right now, our down payment assistance program only applies to homes that go up to $300,000 if they're a new construction. That's the max purchase price. If they're an existing construction, it's $245,000. Those homes are not available in the city of Charlotte. And so if we want to actually have a down payment assistance program that works, we need to be looking at modifying that. And then lastly, one of the things that we're looking at on the Republican side is engaging with the state legislature to give us the ability to have tax abatement programs for low income and senior residents who are currently experiencing the potential for displacement because their property taxes are going up and they're on a fixed income. So that, as well as grant programs to keep those individuals in their homes as well.
You touched on when you're talking about affordable housing, but we're seeing across the city that these investment firms are coming in and buying up houses, and the regular buyer like you and I or anybody else can't compete with them. What do we do to stop them?
Yeah, so my fiance and I had this situation happen to us. An investor came in and they offered a higher price for the home that we eventually bought. And in our case, thankfully, the people who sold us the home said that we don't want to sell to an investor. We want to sell to actually people that are going to be invested in their neighborhood. So, on one hand, it's important that sellers, recognize that. The other ways to approach it was floated yesterday, I believe in the UNC urban blog, about encouraging homeowners association to put restrictions on, how many rentals can be in their neighborhoods. But that actually doesn't really solve the issue because a lot of these investors are coming in to areas that don't have homeowners associations,
Sure.
that don't have, protections in place that can be utilized to deal with this particular issue. So right now, I would say it's really an education piece. A lot of this is outside the city's hands. A lot of this would be a tax code issue that the state and federal government would have to be involved in. And I'm looking forward to, when I'm on council, engaging with my partners in Raleigh to figure out how best to approach it from a conservative standpoint.
Got 3 minutes left. I want to get into a few more things. You talked about affordable housing. I feel like the other big thing facing this next council is going to be transportation and how to tackle it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is actually one area where I think that I differ pretty considerably from everybody who's been in council before, and that's everybody on the Democratic side. There are the current council members or previous council members. We've been chasing after shiny objects with our transportation dollars. You look at the Silver Line, that light rail that's going to go from the airport all the way to Matthews and not even connect to the airport. And we just need a real shift in priority to investing in our bus system, because I'm a bus rider. I'm also a light rail rider, but I talk to people on the bus all the time, and our bus system is not working for them. And we need to figure out a way to make our bus system reliable, efficient, and effective for every single person who relies upon it for transportation. So you should not be taking the 43 out to Valentine to go to work and your shift ends at 10. Well, the last bus that leaves from Valentine Village leaves at 9:30. You should be able to have a bus that leaves Valentine at 11:30 at night in order to get you back to where you live. So that's what I would be investing in. I'd be investing in frequent bus routes, and just ensure that each route has at least 30-minute headways.
for the last many years, honestly, Republicans have been not represented in large numbers on council. What's your case to the people of Charlotte that should change?
I would say take a look at where we are. I mean, we've been talking about the same issues of affordable housing, of transportation that works for everybody, of small businesses that are not being crushed by government. We've been dealing with these issues for decades, and Democrats have been in power, in 9-2 majority since 2011, at least a 7 or 8-3 majority since 2009, and we're dealing with the same exact issues. And so I would say give the Republicans a chance, look and see what our fresh new perspectives and ideas that we're giving during this race are, and we'll be able to actually address these issues as opposed to just giving lip service about it.
And then finally, a question that I'm going to ask all the candidates, and that is, in your mind, in just a few sentences, the best thing about Charlotte and then the worst thing about Charlotte.
Best thing about Charlotte is the sense of community. When I moved here, my fiance said, he was not my fiance at the time, but he said, Charlotte will give you what you put into it. And I think that is amazing. I have been welcomed, and I have just jumped right into being involved in the community, and I love that sense of community that we have. The worst thing about Charlotte is hard to answer because I love Charlotte, but I think that, that's a double-edged sword, what I just said. If you're somebody who's shy and introverted and doesn't know how to get involved, it's very difficult to find those opportunities. And so I think that there is an opportunity for us to really get those types of people involved and make them a part of our community.
All right. Kyle Luebke got engaged the same day he filed. Congrats on the engagement as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.